Welcome to Bourbon Sauce. Today's episode is called Saucy on Main Street, where we compare the differences between mom and pop shops versus corporate sized ones. We have Ryan and myself, Dan. Grab your favorite bourbon and join us for the show. Before we get into it, Ryan, which bourbon are you sipping on?
Barker's 7.
Say what?
Yes.
What did
Barker's
you what?
7.
Oh, what? You bakers, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm already barking, I guess.
Christ.
Woof, woof. I don't know. Should we redo that?
No, that's funny. Yeah, that's pretty good. I
Yeah,
like it.
so Barker's. Oh, my God.
Bakers.
Yeah.
Bakers.
So Baker's 7. Pretty smooth. Pretty flavorful. Run you somewhere between 60 to 70 bucks, depending on where you find it. Some places more.
Okay. Well, I am doing the St. Cloud bourbon because I haven't sipped on this one in a while, and I decided to pour it again because it's good. I like it, and I'm doing it neat today instead of doing my typical start off with a cube and then go neat. But
Right.
you know, it's about $150 bottle of bourbon, and it's pretty good. I like it. So, when you think of mom and pop versus big box or corporatized stores, restaurants, what do you think of for, let's go, breakfast places, right? What is a mom and pop? What do you think of when someone says it's a mom and pop or a corporate place? What it comes to mind for you?
So mom and pop comes to mind for me. A good example would be the Country Diner down the road from us here. That would be a good mom and pop for breakfast place. In
Oh,
my
and for
opinion.
those that don't know, that's in Clarksville, almost on the way to Aaron.
I mean, technically Cunningham,
Yeah, right.
just past the high school on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would agree if it's something that isn't found in every city. It's mom and pop places to me is basically a local owned business that
Yeah.
you're
Local
not
owned,
yeah,
local
it's a
operated.
small establishment that you're not gonna be able to find anywhere else. And sometimes chain restaurants start off as mom and pop places, kind of like Bob Evans back in the day. It was just like a mom and pop, and then it blew up, and then became a big old chain. But
Everybody got to start somewhere.
yeah, and I think mom and pop, to me, the portions are usually better,
Yes.
and the price is better,
Yes.
and the food quality is better. Almost every time you go to a mom and pop place.
So is the staff as a whole.
Yeah,
So
like the
your
quality of
wait staff
service,
and
I think, is
everything
they're
is-
more friendly, they're
Right.
more personable, right?
It's more of a family atmosphere.
Yes, and that's kind of what I think when I hear a mom and pop place. I think of family oriented, small town, very intimate settings, good prices, wholesomeness.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like country style living.
so like the Country Diner's been around, what, 1942? I think
God, I
it's-
don't know.
Yeah,
She
I
said
think
it's been around for
1942.
almost probably as long as they've been alive. They opened it, and it's just been a staple for that area.
Right.
Because, I mean, the people that show up in there are people that are probably close to their 70s, 80s, or, that come in on a regular basis. And then there's like our age bracket that'll
Yep.
come in there.
And I
That-
mean, they know us by name at this point.
Well, now, yeah. Just like most places we frequent it, and next thing you know, everybody knows who we are.
Right.
Just because we're social creatures. But when you think of that level of quality, and then you think about what you get at a corporatized restaurant, like, say, I don't know, Cracker Barrel for breakfast, right?
Mhm.
The prices are a little bit more,
Yeah, typically.
and they have more staff,
Yep.
and they have the store front that they've got all their goodies that you can buy,
Right.
and they've got all the shit on the wall that you can stare at, and so you're paying for a lot more, which is why the price is more. So you're paying for the store that they have, which is usually fucking enormous, and so they have to pay for a bigger rent. The experience that you're paying for the gift shop, and the fact that they have more overhead for the more staffing.
True. Yeah.
So, when people think about, oh well, mom and pop places just can't do it because they're just not successful. No, it's not that they're not successful. It's just they have a smaller cost, and they usually have smaller staff, because of that, and because they have a smaller staff, usually have a longer wait time.
Yeah.
Whereas the bigger stores, they have more cooks, they have more staff, and so the food comes out a little bit faster. So that people I don't think they're thinking about that when they're paying that extra cost associated with the meal. Because you go to Cracker Barrel, it's like $30 check usually just for a breakfast. Because you figure your soda or your tea or your coffee, they're charging you for all that shit.
I feel like 2 people can get out for breakfast at Cracker Barrel at about $30.
Okay. And then you figure your mom and pop place, sometimes it's $5 a plate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on what you get. If you get 2 eggs, bacon, and a piece of bread and a coffee, it's like $8 or something.
Yeah, now if you get my breakfast smasher down there.
Your fucking mound of food.
Yeah, I mean, even then we're still out for 2 plates of it, $22.
Mm-hmm. But it's a massive amount of food. I mean, it's like 2 giant pieces of chicken, 2 biscuits, mounds of gravy, potato slices,
and fried eggs on top.
And the fried eggs on top. And it is a delicious, delicious plate of food. I will tell you that it's well worth going to that place just for the breakfast. I haven't been for any of the other meals, and I know you've gone.
Yeah.
And you said, did you say they had a meatloaf or something, or a fish fry?
So they do. They have a meatloaf occasionally, and they typically, I think it's Friday nights.
Yeah,
is the fish fry nights, and
Okay.
it's pretty good catfish.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, pretty good.
But
Saturdays is the only day they do biscuit and gravy.
Right, because they make it fresh.
Yes.
Which is another thing that you don't normally get with corporate stores. Is it's usually pre-made food, or the kitchen does it the night before or 2 nights before, depending on whenever they do their stuff, the meal prep stuff.
Yeah.
So freshness, that's another good key factor to think of when you talk about mom and pop versus big corporate places. The other thing that I like about mom and pop places is the intimacy, and I kind of touched on it a little bit, but it's just the family side of it.
Yeah, it's very family oriented.
Whereas when you go to these bigger places, you're just a number to them, and you kind of get lost in the wash of, like, they don't really try to take as much care of you because it's volume based. Whereas a lot of these mom and pop places, they're not worried about the volume of people that are coming in; they're worried about the quality of people that are coming in.
Correct.
So that's why I also like going to mom and pop places, because you do get to know them, and it's just a good atmospheric, like, it's a wholesome feel. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't put a price on that, for me anyway. Do you think there's any value added to a mom and pop store versus corporate store that we didn't already touch on?
No, I mean, not really, other than like the staff, obviously, just a caveat. I mean, typically your wait staff is inexperienced with corporate stores.
Mm-hmm.
We've had good waiters and waitresses.
Yep.
But we've also had those that are just like, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want this? That gum smacker. Oh, I'm sorry, we're out of that. Or you have that one who takes your order, goes to the kitchen,
Mhm.
comes back to tell you, oh, we're out of that. You're like, well, I'll take this. Okay, they go to the kitchen, come back. Oh, we're out of that because, well, they didn't take time to memorize or learn.
Or even ask the kitchen,
Ask
hey,
what
by
they
the way,
were
what
out
are
of.
we out of tonight?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of that. They're there for a quick paycheck, and they're just trying to do what they have to do to get that check and get out of there.
Now, for other places, like we like the Desert Rose Cantina, which is there in Dixon, and
Yep.
it's off Main Street, which is why I kind of named this Saucy on Main Street for the episode, because
Done that a time or two.
we've done it a time or two down there. I like the fact that, and a lot of people, it's confrontational, but they do have the QR menus, and it's hit or miss as to whether people like that. But the part about it that I like in particular is it's real time, and they can update it on the fly, and that way if they're out of something, it's not on the menu, and if they change something and substitute it, it's on the menu.
True. That's if you have somebody who is actually going to go in and update it. Not saying that doesn't happen, but
Right.
I've also had the cases even at these big corporate places that now have the QR code
Right.
where it's like, oh, we're out of that today. I'm like, well, your menu
Yeah.
says you have it.
And that's just on that managerial staff normally
Correct.
that they're not keeping up with it. And I don't know if that's maybe a problem with the bigger box stores that they don't have access to the menu because it's a corporate menu and it's across hundreds, if not thousands of storefronts.
Possibly.
So they may not give them administrative rights to update it, which if they could do that, oh my God, that would be a game changer for all
Right.
these corporate places. But the smaller places that are, personally owned, mom and pop type places, they have access to all that. So I think that's another great dynamic for them to capitalize on is like to tell their customer base, like, hey, by the way, because we do this QR code thing, we can actually real time tell you what we have available or what we don't have available. So it's not like a guessing game, and it doesn't really hurt the wait staff either because they don't have to then go back to the kitchen and constantly ask, hey, do we have this? Do we not have this?
True. But at the same opposite side of that coin, if your manager staff, even at a small mom and pop, and you aren't updating that
Right.
when you're out of something,
Yep.
then you really don't have a leg to stand on, and I can be like, well, where's my regular menu?
Yeah.
Because either way, it's the same.
Now, the downside of the QR thing, obviously is if your phone is finicky, sometimes it doesn't want to pick it up, or
Right.
maybe they just have a bad QR code and it's
Yeah, my phone does not like the QR
and for whatever
code
reason
there.
and you have a Samsung, which is surprising because those are good phones. So I'm a little surprised that yours doesn't pick it up.
I pick up Hooters every time,
Hey,
but I can't pick up theirs.
I love picking up Hooters. They're my favorite thing to pick up.
Right.
Speaking of Hooters, being another one of our favorite establishments for wings, because we go there Wing Wednesday, like religiously,
Yep.
and we know the people there, and they're great people. We've gotten to know the GM and the rest of the folks there, and the quality of their food comparative to a mom and pop place is different too.
Oh, very much so. Very, very, very much so.
They do good portions there at Hooters. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But again, because they're stuck to whatever the corporate system is having them order,
And then you have that breakdown of, are they a franchise or are they a corporate store?
yeah, so there is a difference too, which I didn't know until we talked to the GM, and it was like, oh, there is a difference between a privately owned establishment where they're not actually part of the franchise. They're not like a franchisee
You have essentially have just paid to have that franchise tag saying your place is a Hooters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Whereas corporate, you follow
every
the
single
Hooters Bible.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one here is they're following the Hooters Bible. So it's different because, it's just different. But I do like certain other mom and pop places for wings just because personally they can order their own supply, and a lot of those places will get the bigger, like the jumbo wings.
Yes.
And you're like, oh yeah, like this is what I'm looking for. So again, the difference between mom and pop versus a corporate big box place is you have flexibility as who your vendors are going to be.
Right.
So that's a good thing to have that flexibility, because if you find a vendor that's fucking trash or they're overcharging you for small bits and whatever, they're nickel and diming you, say if it's ranch and you're getting this watered down ranch versus like a thick creamy ranch, it's a big difference, especially in the like your consumers that are coming in on a regular basis. They're going to notice that kind of thing, and that's I think another great quality is if it's a mom and pop and you give them that real time feedback, they're usually more receptive to that.
True. Now here's a good one, and you can caveat on this one as far as mom and pops go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So small town where I'm from,
Yep,
had a barbecue joint downtown. Only place in town you could actually go in, have a beer, have a drink, and eat food. Only place in town.
Yeah,
okay?
Barberville.
So the alcohol kept them in business.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we have tried their food several times. Okay, and we're talking about a place that's supposed to be
a barbecue
place, right? We're talking, give me the cheapest rack of ribs you got. Give me the cheapest pork shoulder. Whatever's cheap on the truck, you give it to me and I'll cook it. We're talking, I had ribs come out, I wouldn't feed to a dog.
I mean, I might
now,
if
granted,
I don't like that dog.
Well, Now, granted, they are closed now. They're out of business.
Right.
But that's what hurts a mom and pop there is, one, their wait staff, mean, you go into a place that can seat over 200, almost 200 people,
Right.
and you've got 4 waitresses, and it takes
maybe
me
5 people in there
and it takes
eating.
me 20 minutes to get my drink, and then another 10 minutes for her to come back and take my order.
Yeah.
You got staffing issues.
Well, that is a problem for a lot of places, and it's not just mom and pop places that are hurt by the staff. It's everywhere because
Oh, I agree. But I'm saying, like, you can see the impact
on
on a mom and pop
it's
establishment versus
drastic. Yeah, for sure. Because in a small town environment, once you sour that relationship with those locals, that's it. You're fucked.
Well, I mean, you already had a hard time in Barberville anyways because you're on the Bible Belt.
Right.
And all your true churchgoers are like, you serve alcohol, we're not coming in there.
Yep. But, a place like, I don't know, let's pick something in Clarksville, Strawberry Alley, for example.
Yep.
If they have bad wait staff, which they do,
sometimes
they're not hurt as bad because of the volume of people that are coming through there, because of the limitations of places people can actually go to here in Clarksville for food in the downtown area. So they can get by a lot longer, and at some point it will catch up, but they can get by a lot longer than a mom and pop place because mom and pop places have a smaller margin of error when it comes to their consumer and the people that are coming in and out of that door.
Right. But like with Strawberry Alley, it is a mom and pop, but you're on Main Street. You're within walking distance of everybody from Austin P. So a lot of your college kids don't even think about waiting staff nowadays.
The other thing that they've got going for them is the fact that it's a college town and a military town. So you have a turnover constantly of people that are willing to give that place a new try.
Correct.
So whereas a mom and pop place, you don't have that turnover of people, and it's harder to stay alive.
A small town mom and pop.
Right.
Yep.
So it's harder to stay alive in those places unless you can captivate that consumer base and show them like, hey, we've got great food, we've got great service, we've got great environment. Whatever it is that you're trying to provide for the consumer, it's consistent. And that's the biggest key, I think, for small mom and pop places is consistency is key.
Agreed. And it's pretty easy to win best barbecue in the city when you're the only restaurant serving barbecue in the city.
I remember seeing that when I walked in. I was like, isn't this the only place that's got barbecue right now?
Like,
if you say like best barbecue in Kentucky,
right, that would be different. That would be different.
You'd have some accolades that you better be fucking putting up.
Well, I mean, at some point you're in a magazine, you're on the TV, right?
Right. So that better be framed on the wall.
Right.
Like, hey, we went to this place in fucking Memphis where there was 20 vendors that showed up and we won first place out of 20 places. Like, oh shit! All right, that carries some clout. Like, I'm wanting to try your Memphis style fucking ribs.
Correct. Right.
But if you don't have that and you claim, get the fuck out of here.
If I know, like, if the hype is there about this particular item on your menu, and I show up, I'm ordering it.
Yeah.
Unless I can't consume it now.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for that one.
Well, quit getting fucking bit by ticks, dude.
You know, it is what it is. I guess
ticks and ticks.
Things just like to suck on me.
I'm gonna leave that one alone. Yeah, things suck me dry too, but it's a different story.
But I mean, that's what I'm getting at. So, like me, I guess you would call me a foodie, I guess.
Well, yeah, you and I both do enjoy going to places and trying them out and giving them, giving them a fair shake. Because we'll go a couple times.
But I've been waiting on you, kind of like how you talked about the dating thing, the difference with our dating approaches.
Yeah,
like I'll get up and leave.
Right.
You'll eat the food.
Yep.
I will be like, take this shit back.
Yeah, you're a true Karen when it comes to that.
I will do it politely. I'm never rude to the staff because the staff is not
sometimes.
Not the waiting staff. I never have been mean. The waiting staff, it's not their fault usually.
Yeah, unless they're incompetent, which we've run into that a couple times too.
But typically, if you screw up my order, it's going back. I want it fixed because if I'm paying for it, I asked for this. It's no different than if you want work done on your truck, right?
Yep.
And I know this is a sore topic, but if you want work done on your truck and it's not done right, are you going to take it back?
100%.
Exactly.
It's generally under warranty, and again,
even if it's not,
even
I'm
if it's
saying,
not,
if you're paying
I'm still
for
going
it,
to take it back. So I agree with your methodology.
just please be polite about it, because it's
It-
not usually the waiter or waitress's fault.
Right. Every once in a while, they fat finger something, or they miss something, or they misheard you, and they don't put it in. And they're people just like everyone else, and they have good days, bad days, and they're distracted just like all of us. And so it's difficult because, especially if you're hangry or you're a hangry type person,
Right.
and you're waiting for however long for your food to come out, and it comes out wrong. Like when we went to Old Chicago, right? And the pizza came out, and it was totally disgusting. Like 3 times disgusting. We gave them 3 chances to make it right, and they still fucked it up every time. Now I love pizza, and I love Old Chicago. But whatever reason, whoever they had in the kitchen that day was just fucking annihilating these pizzas.
We had a new waitress.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was shit hot. She was on it. I wish I remembered her name, but that's been way too
Yeah,
many
she got us our
bourbons
drinks
ago.
and our
Oh,
appetizers and
she
everything else
was
real quick.
on it. But
Yeah.
then when the pizza came out the second time wrong, or no, the first time it came out wrong, from then on, she just strictly did appetizers and drinks.
Yep.
The manager had to start dealing with our pizza from that
And
point on.
he still fucked it up.
Yes. He
'Cause I
said,
remember it.
I'm going in and making it myself.
Right. And he brought it back out and it was still fucked up. We were like, come on, bro. Like, we've been here now
I'm like,
almost 2 fucking hours and we haven't even had our pizza yet.
The middle of our pizza should not be doughy.
It shouldn't be doughy, and it shouldn't be when I pull a piece of pizza, all the toppings fall off.
Very true.
I don't want that much grease on my pizza. It should never be that greasy. That
You don't want it to just slide right out?
No, not in or out. I don't want it to slide in or out on me. No.
Oh, we're talking pizza.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, no, not even a little bit.
That's back when I could actually eat red meat.
I know. Yeah,
We had the Sicilian, I
I'm gonna
think.
I'm gonna have to just go out on my own this weekend and go there. Now I'll have the chance, but I think that shows you the other problem is that corporate stores, they're a volume place, so even when they're hiring, their turnover ratio is higher than a lot of mom and pop places. So mom and pop places, I historically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, keep the same staff pretty much as long as they can. Like, it's a congruent factor that they know this is a known variable.
Short of you committing murder or just being a complete douchebag, they will keep you as staff.
Yeah, and like the country diner that we go to, it is a family-run place, and it's literally 3 generations of family running that spot.
And they run it like it's I guess a steam engine.
It's
they
great.
Still stoking the coals.
Dude, they are flawless. And there's only been one time that I know of that has been a little hiccup, and that's just because, she forgot to get us our milkshakes, but
yeah, that was it.
it was remedied on our way out of the door, which was still fine because it was like, you know what, yeah, these would be good home little on the road snack or whatever on the way back. But
I would say a key takeaway for mom and pops: don't go in and expect your food to be out like a fast food restaurant.
yeah, 100%, I agree with that.
That's not what it is. If you're going, this is, I guess, one of my biggest pet peeves is seeing people like throw a fit because it's taking forever on their food at a sit-down restaurant. First off, you are going into a sit-down restaurant.
Right.
That means you're sitting down, you're there to enjoy, you're there to relax,
Agreed.
socialize.
Agreed.
So if you're there and you're in a hurry, then you
You're in the
shouldn't
wrong
be there.
place. Yeah,
exactly.
you're in the wrong place.
Now, fast food, if you want fast food, then by God, hit you some fast food. But there's plenty of small mom and pop local places, sandwich shops, burger joints like Kelly's Burgers on Riverside. There's all kinds of sandwich spots. There's all kinds of food trucks.
You know what I miss about New York when I lived in New York? All the mom and pop delis. Oh my God. So fucking good.
You know, that's the only thing I liked about the one trip I took to New York.
Yeah, man. The pizza is okay. I don't like New York style pizza. I'm not a fan of the big floppy pizza. I do like that they're giant slices, but I don't like them to be super floppy. It's like titties. I don't want to be super floppy and sloppy, but I do like
You'll try them once.
But I do like them big, But
I like Pizza Hut crust.
I don't mind it as long as it's a stuffed crust.
I ain't even talking stuffed crust. I'm talking like the pan where it's crispy,
Yeah.
just like the breadsticks.
So that's why I like Chicago style pizza
Mhm.
generally, just because it's got that meaty.
Yes, I
Crust.
like a little bit of crunch on my crust.
Yeah, you got to char it up a little bit.
That's why, like with Domino's,
Yeah.
it's thin crust.
God,
or
I wish they
nothing.
had an East of Chicago pizza place here. It would do so fucking good. East of Chicago pizza. Oh my god.
There's you a franchise opportunity.
I know, but I think you have to be 1 point something mil liquid, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And while I am at that point, I just don't want to fucking do it. Like I don't want to absorb that much to then see it squandered in some way, shape, or form. I'm just not a huge risk taker in that manner yet.
Right.
I think when I get farther in my life, I might do it then. But
Right.
When you think about other places that are mom and pop, which ones would you prefer over corporate places?
100%. One of my absolute favorite place on this planet, on the continental U.S.
Okay.
Let me backtrack.
Let me back it up.
On the continental U.S.,
because I got places overseas. Yeah.
My absolute favorite place to eat in the continental United States that I can't eat no more is the Hamburger Hut in Barberville, Kentucky.
Oh man, we did go to that place.
We got the cheeseburger boxes.
They were so good, and the French fries there are really good.
And I
forgot about that place. God damn, that place is really good.
Only place I know where you can get potato wedges that look like a French fry, and let's say a Arby's curly fry had a baby.
It was I forgot about that place. God damn.
And the coleslaw that come in the burger box.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of coleslaw, but that coleslaw is better than most places I've had coleslaw because
But I can't eat it no more.
You can have most of it.
I can have everything but the burger.
You can have the French fries.
I can have everything but the burger. What's
you can
the
have
point?
the bun.
What's the point?
You can make a coleslaw and French fry burger.
What's the point?
It's just torturous.
There is no point.
Yeah.
So, yes, absolutely my favorite place.
What about overseas? Is there anything that you've seen in your time overseas where there was a difference between mom and pop versus corporate type places?
I mean, come on. After the initial surge and everything settled down, right? Obviously, I mean, come on. You had Green Bean Coffee. Thank God for Green Bean.
Oh, they're now corporatized. They're corporatized.
But what I'm saying, thank God for Green Bean over Starbucks.
That's an
coming
AFES
in there,
thing.
right? Right. But I would take Green Bean over Starbucks any day.
That stuff will make you clear out your bowels with how much goddamn caffeine are in those things.
Totally worth it. But like we're talking corporate comes in, right? You get Burger King, you get McDonald's, you get all these
KFC,
these little
Pizza Hut,
pop-ups,
yeah.
But it's only on the big bases, right?
Yeah.
My favorite thing was to go to the bazaars and eat the local foods.
Yep. Okay.
And the chip wraps in Afghanistan were one of my favorites.
Okay.
Right? And when I say chip wrap, if you're British, it's French fries, right?
Right.
And foot bread. And for people who don't know,
it's freshly made.
It's freshly made with their bare feet.
Daily.
Yes, daily with their bare feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you have ham bread that's a little thicker.
Well, it's like naan, basically.
Yeah. I'm
But
joking.
it's so good.
So good. What they'll do is they'll take a big roll of this foot bread, as we called it, and they'll roll cilantro and fresh vegetables and fries and kebab.
Right.
All up in it, right? And then they would always bring me a mini bottle of A1. I don't know where they got it. Didn't care, but they would always bring me a mini bottle of A1.
Stole it off the back of a truck somewhere.
Hey, who cares?
Yeah.
Little bitty. I'm talking like.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen
mini
it.
Bottles.
I've seen it.
So I would douse it, right? Well, the kebab was goat.
Okay.
Dude, amazing food.
It is.
Like we're talking pots of potatoes and rice. Dude, you could feed a family of 50,
and that's
for
how
$10.
They roll. That's how they roll
for $10.
Yeah. I would say my favorite mom and pop store locally right now has to be that Country Diner. Just because of the quality of the food and the rapport that we've got with them.
100% locally agree with you.
If I were to go anywhere stateside, that one's a little harder to nail down because I've been to a lot of. I'm a foodie, so I there's a lot of places I've been to. In New York, there was a place that I loved that was called The Dugout, and they had great pizza and great wings, and the beer was like overflowing all the time. If I was overseas, again, I'm in agreement with you that some of those places in Afghanistan. However, when I was in Turkey, there was a place that served up chicken tava, and it was so fucking delicious. And it had like this melty goat's cheese on top of it with this. It almost looked like salsa with the way they did the tomatoes. It was like stewed tomatoes and the cheese and the chicken, and oh, it was so good, so fucking good.
Well, even like when I was in Iraq and Syria, like chicken tikka and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to explain this, right?
Yeah.
Because in the continental U.S., people would look at this and be like, "Oh my God, you're cooking that over a trash can or whatever," right?
Fuck it.
Whereas it's like you're talking like what you see how they cook, you would be thinking somebody's trying to survive apocalypse now,
Right.
and then yet we're literally eating it, and it's like it's a gourmet meal.
Well, that's
Right.
the difference between first
Falafel,
world.
all this stuff is just
You got to
Whoa.
think first world versus a third world country, and the places we're in, oftentimes when we're deployed, are these third world countries that we're coming in to try to help bolster their economy and save them from some make believe fucking bad guy. But
touche.
it's fucking good food. I
Oh,
don't
it's
care where-
amazing. It's absolutely
I
epic.
think that's the best thing about mom and pop places is that the quality of food that you get is always better than the corporate stores. The only ones that I can say are tip top corporate stores are like the Ruth Chris's, right? Or
Well,
Fleming's, or
And I wouldn't even necessarily go as far as Ruth Chris because I've gone into Ruth Chris and actually had bad experience with food.
well, you can, and every restaurant is susceptible to that problem. However, the quality of meat that they buy, the quality of everything is a little bit higher, which comes with that cost that you
Right.
are paying for.
Right.
So that's something else that people don't understand about a lot of these high-end corporate places that you go into, whether it's an electronics store or a food store or a clothing store or whatever. The reason that the cost is so much is because the materials or the goods that they have are higher. So the beef, for example, you get Wagyu beef at Fleming's or
Right.
one of these other places down in Nashville like STK, and you're gonna pay for that because one, the market value is taken into consideration, and if you don't think that factors in, you're a goddamn idiot, because realistically, if you want quality, you have to pay for it, whether it's a vehicle, clothing, housing, anything that you can as a consumer buy. There is an associated cost that comes with that, and people, I think, get narrow-sighted, or they're just not realistic about what they're paying for. So I don't know.
I do have a question though.
Yeah, go for it.
And I with you dropping your Q&A stuff on our
Mhm.
episodes, any listeners out there, I do have a question. So there actually was a for the light bulbs, right? They had a meeting for all the light companies
Yeah.
years and years ago.
Yep.
Your light bulb is pushing too much wattage. Your light bulb's pushing too much wattage. So if you're not within these standards,
Yep.
you get fined and all this
I
stuff,
remember
right?
that. Yeah.
So it kind of
that was years ago.
years ago, right? Years.
Like
Okay.
50 years ago, but
Probably no, way longer than that.
it
We're
was
in
like Edison years ago.
yeah. So long time ago, right?
Long,
So
long
with
time
that,
ago.
with that, you think about it, right? Vehicles don't last as long.
Mhm.
All this other stuff, animals being injected with hormones and all this stuff.
Yeah. What's your question?
Same way with the light bulbs. Is there a similar thing for vegetables, meat, all that? Is there a
Yeah, the
And
FDA.
so it's the FDA that says your stuff has to be here, or here?
Yes, 100%. Or USDA when it comes to beef, right? So you
Yeah.
have FDA that approves medical, USDA that does beef. I forget what the one is for vegetables, but it's a farmers association. That
Right,
does,
but what I'm getting at is
but they're all in cahoots. They're all in cahoots. So, you can't get away from it. It doesn't matter what it is. Big oil, but we're not going to be conspiracy theorists on this thing. But
FTT, baby, FTT. Farm to table.
yeah, that is
But
some of the best
mom and pop,
food,
absolutely.
which is why mom and pop places win 9 times out of 10 on quality.
My
A
biggest
lot of people bitch about the time that it takes to get their food, but it's like, dude, you want quality food. I was just talking about this at work literally today, and it was like, you can either get it cheap, fast, or quality. You can't get all three. You can either get quality and fast, or you can get quality and cheap, or fast and cheap. But you can't get all three at the same time.
no.
So, and people are delusional where they're like, "Well, I want fast quality," and it's like, no, you can't have all. You can't have it.
And I don't want to shit my brains out every time I eat Taco Bell.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
it just depends on how the quality of their shit meat that they're putting out. That processed meat that's not even real meat. And everybody's like, "Oh, it's got the beef." Like,
oh no, they actually had to go through this whole process now where they actually have to put like percentage and all that.
I understand all that, but
that's pretty wild.
It's still not real beef. I don't give a shit what any of these fast food places say and how many statistical reports they put out. There's nothing natural about whatever they're feeding us in those fast food joints, whether it's Taco Bell, Burger King, McDonald's, whoever, Taco John's.
And what's
I do love me some Whataburger though.
Whataburger is good.
God damn,
I had to get a Whata chicken, but by God, I didn't complain about it.
It's still what you want.
I would say
bourbon brain.
I can't even unfart it. Like I can't clear.
Shit it out. Come on, goddammit.
Yeah. I can't even clear the processor right now.
Yeah. You got too much buffer in the cache. When you think
about, I knew I shouldn't have looked at that food porn.
If you think about a restaurant that you would want, or a business, even if it's like just a normal business, mom and pop type place, what would it be and why for yourself? You got
same thing I've literally thought about for years.
A masturbation shop?
No, I do that on my own.
Well, I figured if you're so good at it, you might as well get paid for it.
Why? Why would I pay myself? I'm just saying.
You got to do. Never mind.
Let's
say you masturbate other people and get paid for it because you're so good at it.
No,
really. What would you do?
So I've always I have these ideas, and you have these ideas.
Yeah, we have
great
epiphanies when we're drunk,
and then they tend to actually sometimes overlap. Like I've always had a strong desire to run at the very minimum a small farm and do farm to table.
Yeah,
and have a restaurant.
Yeah, you wanted those what are those Highland cattle?
Yeah, Highland cattle.
Yeah,
right. And I wanted to do a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Would you serve up Highland beef?
Yes.
I wonder what that tastes like.
It's super good and super lean. So, let's say you do a Highland ribeye.
Yeah.
It's a lot leaner.
Less marbly.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so rich.
So it's buttery.
It's yes.
Okay.
They are considered a forage cattle.
Well, I get they're just foraging, but that's an interesting concept.
They're a lot leaner.
It would be a farm to table with the Highland cattle, and then would you do barbecue, or would it just be like burgers or burgers and dogs, beef dogs?
So I kind of wanted to do.
You can't have beef. How would you taste it to know it's any good?
I would have to have somebody else do my tasting and help cook.
Oh.
So, I wanted to do kind of I wanted it to be it is what it is, right?
Right. And no so frills, no.
Like that would be like it is what it is. That would be the name of it.
Okay.
Right.
And what do you do for that?
So each day, whatever, there's a special menu on that. There's a special on the menu, and it is what it is.
Okay. So whatever it is that you have for the special, and that's what you can order, and that's it.
No,
nothing else.
There's basic stuff like some burgers and stuff like that, right? But every day there's a different special, and when you come in, you order. It is what it is.
Okay.
Right, and then obviously the wait staff would be like, "Well, do you have any allergies to this or this?" That's it. I'm not explaining to you.
So you're not going to have shrimp on the menu?
Oh no.
You just have.
So
you gotta have some po' boys.
Oh, I would keep it.
Or is it gonna be like what's the theme of the other than that? Would it be a
So it would mainly be beef and pork related.
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. So there's no chicken, no shrimp,
There would
no.
be some chicken. Like obviously, you have to have
Well,
some
yeah, okay.
alternative options, right?
That's not a
You
bad
have
idea.
to,
It's not a bad
right?
idea.
But ultimately, I mean, like that's what I wanted to do, and just have that one item on the menu. It is what it is, which
Yeah.
is the chef special.
Okay.
I don't care what you want it to be. I don't care. I'm not describing it. Are you allergic to X, Y, and Z? Nope. Okay, you ordered this. That's what you get.
So it is what it is, and it's a mystery. It's like
It's
mystery meat when you're in a fucking
exactly.
high
If
school.
you're
and
going
like,
to
what the
order
fuck
it-
is that?
If you're going to order it, that's what you're getting.
You just gotta be prepared to eat whatever the fuck shows up.
Exactly.
It is
And
what
we've already
so it's a
cleared
gamble
Your, yes,
at that
and we've
point.
already cleared your allergies.
Okay.
But that's always going to be like you're talking. That's your $25, $30 plate,
All
and
right.
that's usually where your steak's coming or something like that, right?
Yeah. No. I
But
think
the Dogs of War was my favorite restaurant idea.
yeah, that was a pretty good idea that we had. Hot dogs and different stuff.
Just
and-
everything, barbecue, the whole nine.
But yeah, that would have been a good one just because of been veteran owned and everyone's got a war story. It's kind of like AmVets or a VFW or American Legion or any of those places, but it would have real good food because a lot of those like places, AmVets and all that, it's usually fried finger foods,
Right.
mozzarella sticks, wings, whatever the hell they can drop in a deep fryer or a microwave and then they bring it to you. But Dogs of War, we would have done a little bit above and beyond where it would have been barbecue and burgers and different stuff and beers. So it could have been called Dogs of War, burgers, beers, bitches, or because different dogs.
dogs.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll play on that. But
So if you were going to, what would yours be?
I would do a barbecue place.
So more or less like what we
Similar what
talked
we've talked
before,
about. Yeah, the Dogs of War
Mhm.
thing because I truly enjoy doing that, and we've done it before. We smoked meat over a course of a night, and
And you saw how everybody got crazy the next day.
yeah,
over that.
they loved everything that we provided.
Especially that
So
smoked mac and Gouda.
yeah, that was a shock for everybody. Like, what? Smoked mac and Gouda?
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, we're fucking
Yeah,
we're highfalutin in this bitch.
FYI,
Yeah.
listeners, somebody forgot or didn't realize that there was a little bit of a plastic edge around the Gouda cheese.
Oh yeah.
So when they
I
were
forgot that.
slicing it,
on one.
I had to go back like, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah, that red shit. I forgot all about it when I was slicing the cheese. I debauchery. That's my fault.
So worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it. But hey, that wraps it up for us here at Bourbon Sauce. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. The more you like and share, the better chances are we can grow our channel. Plus, the algorithms love it. Also, check out our Instagram page, www.instagram.com/bourbonsauced, where you can see clues on upcoming episodes, as well as see photos that pertain to our podcast. And this is the best part, you can message us there, and we will interact with you real time. Hope you come back. Until next time, enjoy your favorite beverage and get sauced.
Cheers.